Hey, Mark Agnesi here again in the back room at Norman's Rare Guitars. It's time for Guitar of the Day. Hey, it's Flat Top Friday. Why don't you guys come back, let's see what we got today. This thing, this one's from 1968. It's a favorite of Keith Richards. It's a favorite of Mick Jagger's. It's the Gibson Hummingbird. It's a clean one too, you guys. Gibson Hummingbird, 1968. Original Heritage Cherry Sunburst finish. Let's talk about hummingbirds for a second. Hummingbirds first shipped in 1961, although I've had a few 1960s. Yeah, they did that too. We call them the R-bird. For those of you who are real guitar nerds out there, you'll know that in 1960 their factory order number was R. It doesn't have an impressed serial number on the back like a 61 would. It's got an A serial number on the tag with the factory order number R. We call them the R-birds. They're rad, but hey, 61's the first official year. This one's from 68. A little bit later, this is more the Stones era. If you like the Rolling Stones, almost every single track from the late 60s throughout the 70s was cut probably on one of these. Adjustable saddle bridge, Gibson Hummingbirds. Something else with 68 that's kind of interesting with the Gibson acoustics. It's the one year, the only year, that they screwed down the pick guards on the Hummingbirds. You won't see that on other years. And on a lot of other Gibson models in 68, you'll actually see Gibson logo right here on a lot of the J45s, J50s, SGs. I've seen them on a lot of different models. Something about 68, I don't know. This one's got the slightly slimmer 1 9/16 nut width. You got the split parallelogram inlays with the binding on the fretboard. And again, the adjustable saddle bridge as opposed to the fixed bridge of the 50s models. So this allows you with these two screws to raise and lower the action yourself without having to bring the guitar to a luthier. It's a Sitka spruce top, mahogany back and sides, mahogany neck. Very, very similar to the J45s, J50s, except for the square shoulders. That is the big difference. The Hummingbird was the first of the Gibson acoustic guitars to feature more of the Martin shape dreadnought, the square shoulder dread. Up until this point, all of Gibson's guitars, what we call the slope shoulders, where it kind of curves down a little more. And then this kind of became the trend. Country and Westerns, Southern Jumbos were all slope shoulder guitars. Once you get into the early part of the 60s, right around the end of 61, 62, those go to square shoulder. Then they started doing the maple back version, we call it Dove. The 60s were all about the square shoulders for Gibson, even though they were still doing J45s and J50s. But they're great songwriter guitars, they're great studio guitars, they track really, really nice. Well, you see we go out front, hit it with our fingers, hit it with a pick, see what kind of sounds we get out of this thing. Alright, we're out front. We've got the 1968 Gibson Hummingbird, original Heritage Cherry Sunburst finish. We're going to hit it with our fingers first, then we're going to play it with the pick, see what kind of sounds we get out of this thing. Let's switch it up. Let's hit it a little bit harder with the flat pick. We'll see how this thing responds when we lay into it a little bit more with the right hand. It's instant stones, man. All those great records came out of this guitar right here. Well, not this one, but one like it. But this sounds a lot like it too. This one's from 1968. Original Gibson Hummingbird Factory Heritage Cherry Sunburst Finish. Check me out online at Mark Agnesi. Follow the store at Norman's Rare Guitars. Check this and all the rest of these guitars out online at normansrareguitars.com. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for one last guitar of the day of the week.